inside, 30, 20, 15. They will not catch him today.
The Warhawks are in town for the Pink Out game, and we've got all the highlights.
Erickson at the hopper turns it. Annie breaking a tackle across midfield.
Plus, recently there's been some Bobcats making the pros,
and we'll tell you their story.
All that and a whole lot more. Inside Bobcat football starts right now. Let's go Bobcats!
The Bobcats had their Sun Belt Conference home opener this past Saturday against the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks. Bobcat Stadium was built in 1981 and had the 2 millionth fan ever go through the turnstiles this past Saturday as well. And now we're joined by Coach Fran here in the team room, the end zone complex at Bobcat Stadium, a beautiful facility. Coach, in the build-up to the game against the Warhawks, you talked about getting back to the Bobcat way of playing football, preparing, fighting, battling. We saw that from the Bobcats on Saturday.
We really did. I was proud of the way they fought, and you know, we had done that through the month of September, and I kept telling them I wanted the September Bobcats back, and that's what we got. We came up a little short on the score, but all the preparation, effort, fight, determination was there.
In the first half, you look at the statistical comparison through the first quarter and the second quarter. The offense was piling up the yards. The defense was playing lights out. We'll talk more about the defense a little bit later. What do you think it was that the Warhawks were doing or the Bobcats were doing that kept the Bobcats from cashing in for points in the first two quarters?
You know, we squandered a little bit of field position in that first quarter that gave us chances, and we just kind of, as the drive continued, found a way to make a miscue or two and keep ourselves out of the end zone, a penalty or two, just a little execution things which have kind of bedeviled us a little bit all year long.
I was out at practice before the Monroe game, and you and the defensive coaches were really challenging that Bobcat defense to get back to the D that we had seen through the first four games of the 2013 season. You look at the game against the Warhawks, the defense pitched a shutout in the first half.
Defense played well. You give up less than 200 yards of offense on the night. Unfortunately, 75 of it came on the last drive of the evening, but for the most part, they got two interceptions. They really played well in all aspects of the game. We had a few miscues in that last drive that hurt us, but we can win a lot of games if we can continue to get that kind of defensive performance.
All right, Coach, you go into the locker room on Saturday, down to the Warhawks 7-0. We'll pause for a moment and take a look at some of the first half highlights.
After a tough loss in the conference opener to Louisiana Lafayette, the Bobcats are back home for the first of three straight at Bobcat Stadium as they take on Louisiana Monroe. Early in the first quarter, the Bobcat defense was determined to send a message, forcing a 3-and-out on the Warhawks' first possession of the game. On the Bobcats' first offensive possession, true freshman quarterback Tyler Jones rears back and delivers a strike to Andy Erickson for a 23-yard gain, Erickson's longest catch of the season. After a punt, ULM has the ball back, but in a game dominated by defense, the Warhawks couldn't do much as Jairus Edwards is gang tackled by a swarm of Bobcat defenders. Later in the first quarter, and the Bobcats trailing 7-0 after a defensive score for ULM. Robert Lowe with a nice burst to the outside as he gallops for 22 yards, his longest run of the game. Now to the second quarter, and the score still 7-0 Warhawks. Jones runs his own read and says, "I'm taking it myself," as he finds a gaping hole in the ULM defense for a 16-yard run. Despite some big runs from Jones and Lowe, the Bobcat offense continues to stall, but the defense continues to keep Texas State in the game. Late in the second quarter, the score still 7-0 Warhawks. Jones hooks up with Ben Ijo, what turns into a 22-yard gain. 2 plays later, the Bobcats go back to the read option play, and Jones wisely hands off to his workhorse Robert Lowe, who gashes ULM for another 10 yards. Despite some nice plays at offense, it doesn't translate into any points for the Bobcats, but the defense was stellar in the first half, coming through with one last stop as Jamie Clavel-Head's sack of Bradley Brown leads to a long field goal attempt which misses for the Warhawks as we come to halftime from Bobcat Stadium with the score ULM 7, Texas State 0. Coming up next at Inside Bobcat Football, a story on how the Cats are doing at the next level.
Check complete.
Are you making it just any night? Or are you making it remember that night? Are you making it dinner after the game? Or are you making it a victory meal? Are you making it good enough? Or are you making it great with America's #1 choice, Pizza Hut? Now Pizza Hut offers that great pizza at a great price, the $10 any carryout deal. Any pizza, any size, any toppings, now just $10 when you carry out. We all have a choice. Get America's #1 pizza and make it great.
How do you show your Bobcat pride? Now you can show it off and keep your money here at Texas State. Because whenever you buy at the University Bookstore at Texas State, that money stays here on campus. Apparel, books, gifts, and much more. Online or in the heart of Bobcat country, find it, get it, and keep it on campus. University Bookstore at Texas State, your bookstore.
Play fake, rolling left, throws, and the pass intercepted by David Mayo inside the 10-yard line at the 8. First and goal coming up. There's the play we were talking about.
Takeoff, gets away from Cliff Matthews, but can't get back to the line of scrimmage as Giacomo Bartu, that other undrafted rookie free agent linebacker for the Falcons, makes the stop. Why are we talking about rookie free agent linebackers? Sean Weatherspoon, one of the best for the Falcons, is on that injured reserve where you can return later in the year in 6 weeks. And Akeem Dent injured his ankle against the Patriots. 2 starters out tonight, 2 undrafted rookies in.
Giacomo Bartu, Texas State.
Over the past several years, the professional ranks have been painted a little maroon and gold as some of the Bobcats have made the next level. That includes in the NFL, where the Bobcats have 3 players. Giacomo Bartu has started the past couple of games for the Atlanta Falcons. Daryl Morris recently got called up to the San Francisco 49ers regular roster, and Fred Evans is in his 8th year with the Minnesota Vikings.
Do you feel any pressure or sense of responsibility to help push the name of Texas State forward?
Yeah, because there's not that many people so far right now in the NFL from Texas State. So I feel like it's on me and my other teammates back to put the name out there.
In Major League Baseball, the Bobcats have 2 players, most notably Paul Goldschmidt, coming off an all-star year with the Arizona Diamondbacks, in which he hit 36 home runs, drove in a National League leading 125 RBI, and led the league in OPS at 952. Thomas Field also played this year for the LA Angels of Anaheim. The Bobcats also have several players in the minor league ranks. Carson Smith with Seattle, Jed McVaney in the Detroit organization, Joe Dvorsky with the White Sox organization, both Ori Kelenkowski and Kyle Kubica with Atlanta, Lewis Head with Cleveland, Travis Ballou with Houston, Donnie Hart with Baltimore, and Kyle Finnegan is pitching in the A's organization. And just last month, former Bobcat women's basketball star Joyce Ekermato became the 12th female player ever signed on to play with the Harlem Globetrotters.
When you wear Texas State gear, what kind of reaction do you get from your teammates?
I haven't worn much Texas State gear up here. So.
Do they need to send you some stuff?
Yeah. Tell them to send me some T-shirts or something.
Texas State is a place that encourages dreams and offers connections that make those dreams come true.
A place that engages minds and hearts. A place that puts my passion to work in ways to strengthen my community.
What I learned at Texas State helps me reach beyond the campus and make a difference in the real world.
Early on, it was just a game. Then it became your passion. You've sacrificed everything to arrive at this moment.
Where my dogs at? Where my dogs at? Yeah! Yeah!
This is where it all comes together.
Oh yeah! He's got it! 20, 10, 5, touchdown!
And this is where it happens.
A low-scoring affair continues in the second half with ULM leading Texas State 7-0. The Bobcats' first third-quarter possession gets off to a promising start as Tyler Jones connects with Andy Erickson on a screen play for 10 yards on 3rd and 10 to extend the drive. 3 plays later, the Bobcats go back to the run game with an option play for Jones, who makes the right call in keeping the ball for himself as he guts the Warhawks for 12 yards. And on the next play, the Bobcats go from a traditional option look to the zone read option with Jones handing off to Robert Lowe, who blasts ahead for 14 more yards. However, the Warhawks' Isaiah Newsom takes back another Jones interception for a touchdown, putting the Bobcats in a 14-0 deficit. Later in the third quarter, Texas State looking to pin ULM deep, and a great punt by Will Johnson is down by David Mims at the 1-yard line. That leads to a tough spot for the Warhawk offense, and faced with 3rd down near their own goal line, quarterback Bradley Brown throws right to linebacker David Mayo, whose 3rd interception of the season puts the Bobcats inside the 10-yard line. The turnover leads to points for the Bobcats as kicker Jason Dan boots a 22-yard field goal, cutting Texas State's deficit to 11 with the Bobcats trailing 14-3. Saturday's game saw the return of a very important player for the Bobcat defense, DJ Yendry, whose impact was felt by both the Bobcats and Warhawks. That Yendry tackle was part of a 3-and-out for the Bobcat defense as Texas State goes back to work at offense with Robert Lowe churning out another 14 yards. 4 plays later, Tyler Arnott, quarterback, looks over the ULM defense before hitting Benijah on a good-looking catch and run, this one good for 21 yards. A drive that began back at their own 10-yard line results in points as Jason Dan connects at a crucial 43-yard field goal, making it a one-possession game at 14-6. On ULM's first possession of the fourth quarter, 3rd and 7 screenplay is blown up by Aaron Matthews, who buries Centarius Donald for a loss of 7 as the Warhawks are forced to punt. And punting from his own end zone, Justin Mann boots a 49-yard punt to Andy Erickson. After a high bounce off the midfield logo, Erickson takes the ball off the hop, a risky play, but you've got to take risks in a game like this, and Erickson's gamble pays off in a huge way. A 36-yard return sets the Bobcats just outside the red zone with a little more than 6 minutes left to play. Needing 8 to tie, the Bobcats need 6 first and turn to who else but Robert Lowe. 22 carries, 140 yards, and this 6-yard touchdown run brings the Cats within 2. After a 2-point conversion by Erickson, the game is tied at 14. On ULM's ensuing drive, Brown is pressured into another bad throw that's picked off by Aaron Matthews. Another big play for the Bobcat defense, which had a big game on Saturday, but it just wasn't enough as the Bobcats lose a heartbreaker to the Warhawks. The final score from Bobcat Stadium, ULM 21, Texas State 14.
Coach Fran, you look at some of the numbers from the defense's performance on Saturday. Monroe was just 2 of 15 on 3rd down conversions, had just 80 yards rushing. You talked about it earlier, 2 more takeaways, Mayo and Matthews with a couple of big interceptions in that ball game. Exactly halfway through the season now in 2013, where is this defense in comparison to what your expectations were back in fall camp?
Well, this is certainly what we hope for. Our first 2 years have been a little up and down defensively, but not this year. 5 out of 6 games, we've played pretty good on that side of the football, and hopefully we'll continue to do that here in the second half of the season. We controlled the line of scrimmage pretty well Saturday night. We were in great leverage positions most of the time, defended the deep balls pretty well. Really forced a lot of punts, and as you mentioned, a lot of third down failures by their offense.
Midway through the fourth quarter, exciting ball game, Rob Lowe scored his 7th touchdown of the season, 6 on the ground, came from 6 yards out. As Tyler Jones continues to grow as a quarterback, as the O-line continues to get better, how good can Rob Lowe be?
Rob's a special back. He has instincts that enable him to do things that some backs can't do. He made a couple runs Saturday night where he kind of gave a limp leg, what I call a limp leg, and the guy missed him and he stepped over him and made more yardage. He doesn't have the burning speed, but he has really good speed, and his elusiveness and the way he runs behind his pads is really good. So as everybody grows in this offense, he can be a really good back.
This football team, you and I have talked about it before, this football team prides itself on special teams. On Saturday night, Jason Dan, field goals of 22 and 43 yards, and Will Johnson, what a job punting the ball. Out of his 9 punts, 7 of them downed inside the 20, 2 on the 1. A good night for the kickers.
It was a good night, and their punter had a good night too, so it was a real back and forth battle between them, and Will hung in there and did a great job, I thought, punting the football, and the big punt return by Andy set up our touchdown, really changed the field position part of that game and that drive, so it was an important aspect of the game.
Coach, we're going to step aside for a second. When we come back, we'll close the book on the Warhawks and look forward to the Georgia State Panthers visiting San Marcos this upcoming Saturday.
All right.
Tim Gay breaks a tackle down the sideline across midfield, inside the 30, 20, 15. They will not catch him today. Touchdown.
Catch Inside Bobcat Football with Dennis Francione, Tuesday on the Time Warner Cable Sports Channel, and in Houston, Thursdays on the Comcast Sports Network.
A bounce at the 45. Erickson at a hopper, turns it. Andy breaking a tackle across midfield. Down the sideline, 35, 30, inside the 20-yard line, and tiptoes out of bounds. At the 18-yard line, what a play by the senior from Lake Travis.
Coach, you said back in August that you expected, unlike 2012, 2013, could be a season of nail-biters, close football games. And just in looking at the Sun Belt so far, our game Saturday, obviously, it looks like the Sun Belt is going to be that kind of league schedule.
I think it will be. I don't see a lot that separates a lot of the teams in this conference. And every week it seems like people are playing people tough and close and finding ways. So I think that's going to continue for the most part.
Speaking of close games, Coach Trent Miles and the Georgia State Panthers will visit Bobcat Stadium this upcoming Saturday at 6 p.m. They're coming off a tough loss to an experienced veteran group, the Troy Trojans, 35-28. But it looks like Coach Miles really has that team growing and getting better every week.
I think he does. Trent is a good coach, and you know, he is building this program. He's playing some youth. But you see them on film getting better every week, and you see them getting closer to getting wins, and hopefully we can prolong that a week.
The Panther offense, you look at what they've done this season, and while the wins haven't shown up, offensively they don't turn the ball over, have just 7 turnovers this season. And Albert Wilson, one of their receivers, has 33 catches already with 6 touchdowns. There's talent on the offensive side of the ball. What's the Bobcat defense going to have to do to slow down Georgia State on Saturday?
This is a little different kind of challenge than we've had, a little bit more two-back set than we've seen this year. Obviously, the receiver is really talented and can make big plays. We'll have to do a good job on him. Still have to continue to defend the run game as well as we have.
Over on the other side of the ball, Georgia State, despite being a young program, they have some experienced guys on defense. They start 7 seniors, as you know. Well, what do they try to do schematically to slow down the opposing offenses?
They're more of a 3-4 defense, fairly multiple in their fronts and what they do. They've sprinkled some youth in, playing a little bit with those seniors, but they are pretty much a veteran group on that side of the ball.
All right, Coach. Well, we will see you on Saturday, 6 p.m., the second game of a 3-game homestand. Good luck to the Bobcats in getting the W.
All right, thanks.
Hey, I'm Joplo Bartu with the Atlanta Falcons, and you're watching Inside Bobcat Football, and we'll be right back.
Color match has complete.
How do you show your Bobcat pride? Now you can show it off and keep your money here at Texas State, because whenever you buy at the University Bookstore at Texas State, that money stays here on campus. Apparel, books, gifts, and much more. Online or in the heart of Bobcat country, find it, get it, and keep it on campus. University Bookstore at Texas State, your bookstore.
Back to throw. He looks. He goes deep. And the pass is intercepted by Aaron Matthews at the 10. Coming back to the 20. Right to the 25. To the 30. Down the sideline, 40-yard line. Steps out of bounds at the Bobcat 47-yard line.
It's year 2 of the FBS, and the transition has not just affected athletics, but Texas State University as a whole.
I think one of the things that we really hoped for when this move started was to bring increased exposure to the university. And I think we've been able to do that. I think you've noticed it, last year and then this year with, 12 football games that we're going to have broadcast on television, with some of the opportunities that presents for our department in terms of getting regional, national, and a lot more local exposure for the university and absolutely for our athletic department. We're playing, we're playing teams that I think our fans are interested in. Like you've mentioned, we've had 3 of our top attended games in the history of Texas State football in the past 2 years. 2 of them this year, and then last year versus Texas Tech. And yeah, I think I think that's a big deal. I think we should be proud of that. That we're putting out a product out there that our fans want to see. I think the impact that those games have economically within the community are great, and something that we want to promote as well. But yeah, overall, being able to have that many people support our football team and come out and watch us is a great thing for us and for the university.
Since going to FBS, I've seen students be so much more proud to go to this university. They're going to the football games, they're talking about the games, they're excited to go to the game. And so it's been really great as a student to have that energy on campus, to feel students be proud and excited to go to the games. As a university, we have grown as well with our football program. We are now an emerging research institution, a Hispanic serving institution, and we have the largest enrollment that we've ever seen at Texas State, the largest freshman class in our history. There are so many more students who wear Texas State apparel all the time. The bookstore is always packed with students buying new t-shirts, especially when Parents Weekend comes around. But I think, just walking around, not only San Marcos, but when I go other places, Austin, Houston, I see more Texas State apparel. I see students proud everywhere in Texas to go to Texas State University.
Brant Freeman, my broadcast partner on the Texas State Bobcat Radio Network, now joins us. And Brant, you and I talked about it at length during the broadcast in our post-game wrap-up. We just heard from Coach Fran talking about what an outstanding night the Bobcat defense had against the Warhawks.
It was. It gave the Bobcats a chance to win the game, and you went over some of the numbers with Coach, mentioned third down, 2 of 15. One of the numbers for me that really jumped out is that the Warhawks had 13 possessions in the game offensively, 9 3-and-outs forced by the Bobcat defense. Stellar performance. 112 yards passing for ULM on 32 pass attempts. Do the math. 3.5 yards per pass attempt in the football game. Less than 3 yards per carry across the board. Bobcat defense was stellar this past Saturday. And really in a team that's full of really good players. Right now, kind of elevating his game is David Mayo. He's led the team in tackles now for 2 straight games, leads them in tackles for the season, an interception as well on Saturday, has 3 on the year to lead this Bobcat football team. So Mayo right now separating himself from the pack. But this upcoming Saturday, Bobcats playing a Georgia State Panther team that scored 28 last week against Troy. The defense is going to have to be good again.
They will, and you look at the Panthers, some of the numbers can be misleading. They do have an 0-6 record. Keep in mind that 2 of the losses at West Virginia, at Alabama, they're pretty good. And they're only in their 4th season of football. The Bobcats started playing football back in 1904, 1 year after Old Main was opened here on campus at Texas State. First year in FBS, first year in the Sun Belt. So as we know, it's a growing process moving into FBS football, let alone starting a football program from scratch. A couple of the architects of the Panther program, a guy we know, Dan Reeves, longtime coach for the Denver Broncos and Atlanta Falcons. Bill Curry was the first ever head coach for the Panthers. He coached at Georgia Tech, Alabama, and Kentucky. So they had a real good foundation. And if Bobcat fans or this Bobcat football team, I don't expect they will, but if the Bobcats go into this game thinking it's going to be an easy win, I'm going to read a quote post-game after the loss against the Troy Trojans just to talk about what the Georgia State Panthers expect to do this weekend and going forward. Taris Batiste, real good linebacker for Georgia State, was quoted after the loss, "Losers hang their heads down. We are not losers. We have been losing, but we are not losers." I expect to see a fired-up Panther football team against the Bobcats on Saturday. And it's a Sun Belt game, Brant, and it's the second of a 3-game homestand for the Bobcats. This is an important game.
A very important game because the Bobcats, of course, they want to finish somewhere around second or third in the Sun Belt by the time it's all said and done in the conference, and something else to think about as well. This game coming up Saturday, with the USA coming up the week after, South Alabama, there was only one more home game left the entire season. So we want the Bobcat fans to show up in droves this Saturday as the Cats take on Georgia State, looking to go back above 500 at 4-3. And we hope to see you there at Bobcat Stadium this Saturday. Georgia State, Texas State coming up at 6 p.m. and unleash that battle cry. For Inside Bobcat Football, I'm Brant Freeman. We'll see you next time.
Tim Gay breaks a tackle down the sideline across midfield, inside the 30, 20, 15. They will not catch him today. Touchdown.
Catch Inside Bobcat Football with Dennis Francione, Tuesday on the Time Warner Cable Sports Channel, and in Houston, Thursdays on the Comcast Sports Network.